Hey guys, welcome to REI Simplified. I'm your host, Adam Johnson, where we break down complex real estate situations and scenarios for people like me and you, the beginning investor. I get asked all the time, how do I know how much money to offer on a potential flip? I have no idea where to start. I'm gonna show you today the two methods we use depending on the size of the house and many other factors. So without no fancy intro, let's get right into the numbers. Here we go. The two methods I'm gonna show you today are the profit method and the 70% method. And disclaimer, please do not judge me based on my kindergarten handwriting, all right? Don't get wrapped around, worry about the numbers and not about the handwriting. So, the two methods we use are the profit method and the 70% method. I use this method for smaller homes, I'm gonna show you why, and I use this method for larger homes because there's different percentages that go along with running your numbers. So here we go. So let's keep in mind that we're using a smaller house here. So, when running your numbers, you start with the end in sight, the end in mind. For us, the most important number is your after repair value. That's the number that's the price we're gonna be able to sell the house for once we finish flipping it. It's in top dollar shape and it's ready to be sold. So let's say for number's sake, for this little small house, it's worth $100,000 after repair value, ARV, 100,000, okay? From there, I do my backwards math and I subtract my payouts. I subtract my liabilities. I subtract who I owe, what I owe them, and what it's gonna cost me. So I gotta start with the closing costs. Usually in my market, the seller, in this situation, I'm the seller because we're thinking ahead. When I sell the house down the road in 3 or 4 months, I have to pay closing costs. It's generally speaking, it's about 10% of the purchase, of the sales price. So if I'm selling for 100,000, 10% of 100,000 is gonna be $10,000. I'm gonna subtract these and give you the numbers here in a second. The next thing I go to, the next number is your rehab cost, repair cost, okay? Let's say the house is generally in good condition, needs a little bit of paint, flooring, easy fix. We're gonna call it $10,000 repair cost, rehab cost, okay? So another 10,000 is gonna be subtracted from my 100K. Now, let's talk about what you never see on DIY and HGTV, the holding costs. When you buy a house, you immediately start racking up utility bills. You gotta pay insurance. Depending on your mortgage and how it's written, you may have to start making mortgage payments monthly. So on a small house, what I'll generally do is I'll annotate about $500 per month of holding costs. And I usually will calculate for at least 4 months of holding costs. If I sell it in 2 months, great. If it goes a little bit longer, at least I have prepared for that. So for this situation, we're gonna say $500 a month for 4 months equaling $2,000, okay? Subtract my holding costs of $2,000. Now, what is the most important part about you flipping a house? It's your profitability. You need capital from this sale to go towards the next few purchases, okay? Again, with this method, I have to give a dollar amount to my formula because I want to make sure that at minimum I make at least X on my profit. So for a small house in my market, every market is different. I want to make at least $20,000. If you're in California watching this, 20,000 is nothing for you guys. In my market, 20K is a good profit, especially on a little small house that took us, 2 weeks to renovate and a month and a half to sell. So I want to make at least $20,000. And I'm gonna show you why I'm subtracting these numbers from my after repair value, my sales price, okay? So here's how this works out, guys. The purpose of this method is to show you how to confidently submit an offer and what the number should be. So here we go. I'm gonna sell the house for $100,000. I'm gonna subtract 10K for my closing cost. That puts me at 90K. I'm gonna subtract 10K for repair cost. That puts me at 80K. I'm gonna subtract 2,000 for holding cost. That puts me at 78,000. And I'm gonna subtract 20,000 for my profit that I want, which puts me down to 58,000. Now, what is that number? What is 58,000 to you? To me, that is my maximum allowable offer. This is what I can offer the seller with confidence that I'm gonna have enough profitability at the end of this transaction, at the end of this sale, that it's worth my time. If I had to offer this person $65,000, $70,000 and I was only gonna make $8,000 in profit, I would walk away from this deal. So before I leave my house, I have run my numbers, I feel very confident, and I'm ready to go meet with the seller to give them an offer. Now, this $58,000 is the maximum allowable offer. When I go negotiate with this seller, am I going to say, hey seller, I can give you $58,000, we can close in 10 days? Absolutely not. You have to start a little bit lower so that you have that negotiation buffer zone. So in this situation, I may offer, $49,250, I don't know. But your first offer is going to be low, obviously. It's going to be, but not too low. Okay, you don't want to offend your seller. You want to be in the ballpark. You want to have to be close enough that they're not offended and they'll still continue working with you. So I offer $49,000 and some change. They counter with 53. We can kind of work in the middle, and I might get a house for well under what I was prepared to offer for that property. So recap: start with the end in sight. My sales price once I finish flipping the property. This is going to be sold on the market 2 months from now. Subtract my closing costs because I'm going to have to pay realtors, title fees, so on and so forth. Subtract my repair costs because someone's got to pay the handyman, the contractors, the plumbers, the electricians. Subtract my holding costs because someone's got to pay the utilities and the mortgage company. And subtract the profit because I got to make sure that I have profitability during this transaction or after this transaction. I'm not doing this for charity. So there it is. This is the profit method that we utilize on smaller houses. So let's get to the 70% method and why the 70% method and how and when do we use this. We use the 70% method on large homes. For us, anything over about $180,000, $200,000, I'm gonna run these numbers and I'm gonna show you why once we finish this method. So, as I said before, we're gonna start with the end in sight. For this example, we're gonna have a house that we can sell for about $300,000. So, we're at $300,000 is our ARV, after repair value. Now, from the very beginning, we're gonna subtract 30% because that puts us at 70% of our ARV. Why? Many banks, many hard money lenders, some private money lenders will only give you or loan you 70% of the after repair value. Why? They want you to have at least 30% of your money or someone else's money in the game to have some skin in the game. They don't want to front the whole 100% for liability purposes, and I completely understand that. So we're going to start with subtracting 30% of 300K. Now, most of you are going to say 300K minus 30%. I think 300 times 30% is going to be 90,000. All right. So one quick way to do that quick math is to simply say 300,000 times 0.7. It's going to give you $210,000. That's a little trick I learned in real estate school. So we're starting with $210,000 is what we're going to get. Is the loan we're going to get from the bank. So we're at 210. All right. Repair cost. This is a bigger home, nicer area. We're going to put granite. We're going to do hardwood floors. We're going to remodel all 3 bathrooms. We're going to say that we're going to repair this house for, let's say, $60,000. All right. Repair cost is going to be $60,000. Now, as I said before, what they don't show on TV is the holding cost. The second I close on that property, actually before that, I've already got the home inspected and had some other fees in order to buy this house. I'm going to start accumulating interest on loans. I'm going to have to start, obviously paying the utility bills, insurance, all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and calculate, let's say $5,000, okay? That should hold us for 3.5, 4 months of utilities and so on and so forth. So we're gonna say $5,000. Now, let's subtract our numbers and get our maximum allowable offer. So we began at 30K, we came down to 30%, gave us, 300K, subtract that 30%, puts it 210,000. 210 minus 60K is gonna give us, was that 70? 170,000. Hope that's right. Minus 5 more thousand is gonna give us 165. So in this situation, our maximum allowable offer is $165,000. Again, that's not my first offer. Now, what is something that we did not talk about in the 70% method versus the profit method? There's 2 things. We didn't cover the closing costs and we didn't cover my profit. I'm gonna tell you why. If you remember, we began with 300K and we subtracted 30%. Where did that 30% go? Well, that 30% is our buffer to cover closing costs and to cover my profitability. So, generally speaking, as I said before, that 30% is going to equal $90,000. That is not all profit. That's not all profit. So we're down here for, we have a $90,000 that's left over in our number factor, in our formula. 10% of 300K, which is $30,000, goes towards closing costs. So 30, so we're going to minus our 30K for closing, CC, that puts us down to $60,000 of potential profit. That's what we're shooting for. $60,000 is our profit. So, profitability. So the underlying factor here is that what we're shooting for using the 70% method is a 20% profitability, no matter what we do. So if we're flipping something for $1 million, we're looking for $200,000 profitability. That's what this method is for. There's no way in the world I would ever get $60,000 out of this little small house. So this is why, based on the size of the house, based on the numbers, based on the amount of risk, based on the insurance and all these other factors, how long we're going to hold the home, determines on which method we're going to use. Now you can use either method you want. There's actually, I'm sure there's many more methods on YouTube, but as the name of this channel is simplified, I try to keep everything we do so simple that I can receive an address, I can receive a few details, and I can run these numbers in my head, and I can submit an offer in 4 or 5 minutes if I have to. If a seller says, hey, I got this going on, what could you do for me? I can be like, okay, what's the address? How long have you had it? Have you made any upgrades? I can ask those little fact-finding questions to get a good baseline and use these methods and shoot them an offer very quickly. So guys, I hope you got something out of this. Please like and subscribe, share with a buddy. Why not? It's free. Use these methods. If I can ever help you guys, shoot me a message. By the way, there's lots of information in the description below, our contact information. Again, if I can help you, man, that's what I do. So until our next video, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys later.